But yeah, it's a great day to come out, great morning, come out and photograph and watch your birds. And um, so one of the funniest things is I've been doing this now for probably 25, 30 years, doing birding. I used to not birding. Um, my wife actually knew a whole lot more about birds than I did. And now she goes, is this the same person I met a while back who can hear a sound and say, oh, I know what that is? So it makes it fun, makes it interesting. Learning about them, not just seeing them, taking the time to learn about them. And, I'm a photographer, but now I've started learning how to sit and watch. I don't always have to take a photograph. You can learn a lot by just watching their movements, their behavior, how they interact with each other. And that's part of the interesting thing, is learning how. Birding for me became a hobby and a passion, and I also photograph. But the other thing it allows you in today's society with smartphones and TVs and everything, life is so busy. I spend more time with my wife as friends and sharing a common interest of watching the birds, looking around, and spending time together doing something that we both like to do. And we spend time together, even though we're birding, but we're also spending quality time together. And you can do that with your children, your grandparents, and just come out and enjoy the day. Beautiful weather. In Schoharie County, birding wise, some of the best times of the day would be your earlier mornings and your later in the afternoons. Most birds don't want to be out in the heat of the day. It's too hot. They're going to be sitting in a tree in the shade somewhere. And migration time starts as the weather gets cooler, gets colder. We start getting migrating birds in here October, November. Normally by December, they're gone. I hear somebody pounding on the tree right here as I'm trying to talk. There's a woodpecker looking for bugs, and that's what they do. They tap on the trees and listen. If something's moving in the tree, then they'll dig into the tree and find that little bug. And then winter time, winters aren't as bad as they used to be in Schoharie County. So it's a lot milder, and you get a lot of more raptors, birds of prey in the county during the winter, from hawks, northern harriers, owls. This past beginning of this year is the first time I ever photographed short-eared owls in Schoharie County. We've had snowy owls in Schoharie County during the winter. So you get a lot of different migrating birds of prey that come into the county for the winter and kind of stay here. The bald eagle population triples in the winter because of all the open creeks that are constantly running, all the farm fields, hay fields that have all been cut. So raptors are a big thing in the wintertime, and then spring comes in, you'll get the birds moving back up north, coming through from the roseate spoonbills, not roseate spoonbills. Well, they did have one in Long Island, which is a very, very rarity. That's why it caught my attention, was the roseate spoonbill. But rose-breasted grosbeaks, evening grosbeaks, very colorful birds come in the spring and the fall. Those are the two best times. Summer is kind of what upstate birds, that's the birds that are here. Birds that are naturally in New York and upstate here will be summertime. So we do look for fall seasons to get here. It gives you a better opportunity to see different birds, and then springtime. Those are our best times to photograph and watch the birds. And nesting season is a great time to go out birding. So that's early spring, especially if the nest box is here at Landis Arboretum. The bluebirds are jetting in and out of the boxes, feeding the babies, other birds. So nesting season is a great time to go out and do birding in Schoharie County.
So early April?
Early April, May, yep. Eagle migration here in the county, bald eagle migration, is normally starting now. As it gets colder up north, they start moving south, and they kind of stay here for the whole winter. You do get golden eagles will migrate through. We do get those here in Schoharie County now and then migrating through. And they might stick around for the winter. And then they'll leave in the spring. And some of them hopefully decide to stay as the weather changes and the climate changes. I don't know how many actually miles there are of trails, but I know that there are some trails that you can walk in a half hour, some trails you can do in an hour. As you're walking this way up toward the Great Oak, that trail takes you down to what's called the Old Growth Forest Trail. And that is a great area to walk because it's more of a dark wooded, more hardwoods. And you get a lot of more of a waterfall, little streams, not ponds. And that's where you'll tend to get owls and more birds of prey in their hunting in that area.
In the darker wooded, more wooded area.
Yes, is where the owls, and they'll be on the edge of the forest. The owls will. That's one of the areas that we like to go walk. They have a great signs everywhere around here, so you can't get lost. I've tried. And, you know, you can hike in like we are now in the fall, or you can hike in the winter time. And some of the better things of the winter time, even if you're looking for birds, more of the owls in the wintertime, different birds, but you can see what other animals are here. You can see the tracks of a bobcat. You can see the tracks of a weasel, or different tracks of animals. So it's great even in the wintertime to come in and photograph or just watch and look for birds and other wildlife. It's not just about birds at Atlantis, but so as you can see, if you were just to stand up here and look around, you can see the whole parts of the valley. So with this makes this a great area to hawk watch for during hawk migrations. They hold those here where they'll sit up here and people are just scanning the skies and you're looking for birds that are migrating through. So Atlantis sits way up on a hill. There's a couple of areas here to climb and watch and hike. And you can see the birds migrating through. So they do hold annual hawk watches here and owl migration watches here, owl walks. There goes a woodpecker. So as you're learning birding, you also will learn not only about the sounds of the bird, but how it flies. So like a woodpecker does a little swooping, diving up, dive like that. So you can learn it's a woodpecker. So some of them determines on how they're flying. You can almost tell what it is. You may not know that it's a hairy woodpecker or a downy woodpecker, but you'll know it's a woodpecker by the way it's flying through the air. One of the other things that I've learned that when you hear the crows really making a lot of noise, they sound agitated. That's because there's something there. It could be a hawk, it could be an owl, it could be a bald eagle, but they're trying to agitate it and make it leave. And that's how I find a lot of the birds of prey, is by other birds letting me know there's something there that they're not happy with. And if there's certain birds that you want to see while you're out birding, you become a better birder, do a little reading. Study up on the bird. What's its favorite habitat? What does it eat? Where is it normally at? Is it high in the tree or is it low in the grass? So studying about the bird sometimes will also help you find the birds you're looking for.